London is burning. Smoke over the Thames. The smoke rose before dawn, thick and oily, curling into the pale light like a serpent writhing against the coming sun. It came from the heart of London, fiery breath from a wounded beast. People gathered at the bridges, silently watching the city burn. The old skyline was changing, the past crumbling into soot and ash. But this wasn't the first time London had burned, and it might not be the last. Chapter 1: Embers in the Dark. It began in a forgotten alley behind an old pub in Shoreditch, just a flicker at first, then a hungry blaze. No one knew who started it. Some blamed revolutionaries, others blamed extremists, but many whispered the name of the group that had been making headlines for weeks, the Hollow Flame. The group had emerged from the depths of London's disillusionment. Artists, ex-soldiers, and rogue engineers, disillusioned with the government, the wealth disparity, the rising surveillance. Their symbol was simple, a burning eye, wide open, watching. Ellie Cross, a freelance journalist with a reputation for finding herself where she shouldn't be, was the first to publish an article about them. She had infiltrated one of their meetings in an abandoned underground station and heard their manifesto, "Let it burn so something better may rise." She hadn't taken them seriously. No one had, until the fire in Shoreditch spread. Chapter 2: The Domino Sparks. Within 12 hours, the fire leapt across boroughs. Firefighting services were overwhelmed. Emergency phone lines crashed. No one could explain how a contained blaze could spread so fast through a modern city. But it wasn't just flames. There were blackouts. Sections of the city plunged into darkness as the power grid was attacked. Water stopped flowing in some places, while in others, fire hydrants were found sabotaged. The second blaze lit up Brixton, then Camden, then parts of the city. Ellie found herself in Southbank, camera slung over her shoulder, trying to capture the truth. People were looting stores not out of greed but desperation. Shops ran out of bottled water. Pharmacies were empty. The air smelled of fear, and something else, a strange chemical tinge. As she stood on Waterloo Bridge, Ellie noticed something. The fires weren't random. They formed a pattern, a spiral, an old Celtic sigil, visible only from above. The hollow flame wasn't just burning the city, they were making a statement. Chapter 3: The Old Bones of London. The government called in the military by day 3. Drones patrolled the skies. Curfews were announced. The Prime Minister gave a national address. Eyes bloodshot and voice trembling behind the calm. But London resisted. The city had been burned before, by Romans, by Vikings, by plague, by the Great Fire of 1666, and by the Blitz. The bones of London were used to fire. But this felt different. Beneath the chaos, people formed makeshift shelters. Churches opened their doors. Underground tunnels once used in wartime were reopened. There was fear, yes, but also unity, a defiance that burned brighter than any flame. Ellie made her way to Highgate Cemetery, where rumor had it that leaders of the Hollow Flame were meeting. She found graffiti sprayed on the stone walls, "From ashes, truth." A masked figure approached her. "You wrote the first article," the voice said. "I did," Ellie replied. "They think this is about destruction. It's about rebirth." Before she could ask more, the figure vanished into the trees, leaving only the echo of burning leaves behind. Chapter 4: The Fall of the Eye. On the 5th night, the Shard collapsed. The tallest building in Western Europe, an icon of modern London, crumbled in a fiery cascade after a suspected internal detonation. The explosion was seen from every corner of the city. Ash fell like snow. The hollow flame released a video the next morning. A hooded figure stood in front of a bonfire, voice distorted. "This is not the end. This is the unveiling. The city of illusions must fall, so the city of people can rise." Public reaction split like dry timber. Some called them terrorists. Others called them visionaries. Some believed the government was behind it all, a staged crisis to bring in total control. Ellie published an exposé, including her encounter at Highgate, and photos of the sigil pattern fires. The article went viral. She was hailed as a truth seeker and condemned as an anarchist. Meanwhile, fires still raged across the city. Firefighters fought bravely, often without sleep, their faces streaked with soot and tears. Volunteers joined the lines, passing buckets, forming human chains to evacuate the elderly and the sick. In the face of destruction, Londoners remembered who they were. Chapter 5: The Burning Crown. By day 7, Westminster was surrounded. Parliament had become a fortress, guarded by military drones and tanks. There were whispers of martial law, of secret police, of purges. Rumors leaked that MI5 had gone dark, communications severed. In the heart of this chaos, Ellie was invited to a meeting. An anonymous message, coordinates, and the phrase "witness the truth." She followed the instructions to the abandoned Aldwych Underground station. There, under the dead lights and mosaic-tiled walls, she met the leaders of the Hollow Flame. They were not what she expected. Old, young, black, white, engineers and poets, medics and veterans. They called themselves keepers of the city's soul. "We didn't start all the fires," one woman said, "but we lit the first." Ellie asked the obvious question, "Why burn your own home?" "Because home has become a prison," the woman answered. "Watch the skies tomorrow, you'll see the truth." Chapter 6: The Ashes and the Phoenix. On the 8th day, dawn came blood red. The air was still, no fires, no sirens, just silence. Then the broadcast began. Hijacked across all stations, public screens, and streaming services, the Hollow Flame aired drone footage of homeless camps ignored for decades, of politicians laughing over cocktails as buildings burned, of police dragging civilians during curfews. The footage ended with a message: "We are the flame, you are the spark, build what we never could." Then silence again. People poured into the streets. There were no riots, no looting, just conversations, reunions, a strange peace. In the following weeks the fires were extinguished, by rain and human hands. Ellie wrote her final piece, not as a journalist, but as a witness. London burned, but not just with fire. It burned with anger, truth and hope. Not all flames destroy, some reveal. Epilogue. From the cinders. 6 months later, London looked different. Skyscrapers still lay in ruins, but in their place rose gardens, markets, and new communities. Power had been decentralized, councils replaced parliaments in some districts, the city was scarred but alive. Ellie walked along the Thames, notebook in hand. Across the water, children played in what used to be the square beneath the Shard's shadow. She heard a voice beside her. "You still writing about us?" She turned. It was the same masked figure from Highgate. "I thought you disappeared. We only disappear when people stop looking." The figure handed her a match. "For the next time." Ellie watched as the figure walked away. She turned to the Thames again, its waters reflecting the sky, smoke-free for the first time in weeks. London had burned. But it had not died, it had been reborn.